All right. So this is going to be my quick commentary on some of the elements that we saw in the Elden Ring DLC trailer. I'm going to try to bring up things that I noticed that I didn't hear people talking about in some of the other commentaries that I saw. And I'm very excited about the new Elden Ring DLC. And these are my kind of first impressions of the trailer. We start off with Mikola. That's where we're likely to uh, kind of portal into the DLC area. It's probably going to be in a totally different area as opposed to an extension of the first main game, and that makes sense. And then we'll have a map a little bit bigger than Limgrave, based on the interview with Miyazaki, which is awesome. That's a lot of area to play with. And so let's get to the next little scene here. The next scene is um, uh, riding Torrent through a muddy pathway here up into a big area, showing how big the area is going to be. And we've got the wheat fields. We have the Erdtree here, and I kind of feel like this might be below the Erdtree as we see it above ground in the main game. And I was thinking maybe that one of these sets of roots is the main Erdtree, and then one of them might be Mikola's Erdtree, and this could be showing how Mikola sort of like degraded the Erdtree by adding their own branch to it. And maybe that's what caused a bunch of problems, but we'll see. It's hard to say. I'm not a huge lore person, although I like the lore. I don't spend a lot of time with it. We just saw a big ol' let's see here. We saw this guy with his cool helmet and a rune. We saw this guy with a greatsword. We saw this guy with his Havel's type armor. So we got different types of armor. This one looks like a nimble dancer, sleepy person with a cool mask. Let's go through this actually a little bit slower here. And I like this scene because this is where we actually see like a new armor set on the main character, which is this flappy, feathered outfit. And we see a type of swampy, degraded area here. And I know Miyazaki mentioned that there was going to be a swamp area. So it'll be kind of similar to the Rot Lake, I would assume, but with poison, which is manageable, but not a lot of fun. I don't know who these people are. I don't really care too much. We see these big pots, which obviously are reminiscent of the great jars, and I have a feeling this is going to be a precursor to the existence of living jars, because we don't see living jars in the trailer, so maybe this is how they were created, or this is like something to do with how the Great Jar group was made into existence, or this is just a bunch of jars maybe holding guts like in the main game. I'm not sure. And I like this because this is like a whirring, moving device here. So it's not just sitting there. It's actually whirring and moving and spreading that lava all over the place. And we see the main character. Let's go back to it here. Jars, underground. I was watching Chase the Bros video on this, and somebody was talking about it being a forge, which would make sense because it's all lava, and this looks like it could be a device, maybe a pump of some sort. And we see the main character here. Looks almost like wearing the prisoner outfit with a rapier of some sort. And then we have a big ass castle, which is probably one of the main areas that we'd go to. There's this jutting out forested area below it, a bird off to the right. I heard some speculation that this might be what Farum Azula turned into, or this is what it was like before Farum Azula as we know it in the main game, which is reasonable because it's a big castle-y type area. But that's super cool. This is a big, like, fire giant that is made out of cages and really reminds me of Dark Souls 3, the cage bad guys in that, where they were like essentially like one of his legs. The one thing that I noticed in here that I didn't see people mention, and it's a little bit hard to see here because we're in a fairly low, let's try to up the resolution here a little bit for this. If we look a little closer, we can see, let's go back a second here. We can see this red beard, and obviously there's the big mask and the tree off to the left, but if we look at the red beard, it looks exactly like the fire giant. He has a big red beard and he's bald. I didn't notice, or I didn't hear anybody mentioning that, but that's what struck me about this scene, was this guy with the red beard attached to its midsection there, which is obviously reminds me of the fire giant. Let's continue on here. If my computer will handle it. These guys are grabbing you and sucking on your head, which looks... it's either the same character model or it just looks the same as the death... like the dudes with the... I don't know what they're called, but in the main game where they have like hoods and they're shrouded and they spit out death and they're in the Altus area and they really suck and they're kind of difficult to deal with, and there's a really big one. But that's what that looks like to me, maybe an earlier stage of that. Let's continue on here. This reminds me of the Beast Man, obviously. He looks beastly, and he's made up of weird parts. He has his green eyes, which I haven't seen before in anything that I can remember. He's got a human, features, human hand, human leg, and so definitely a weird enemy. I'm very curious what that's going to be like. Let's see here. I don't want to turn off the audio. Turn that down a little bit. Let's go back to the Beast Man. So his hand pushes up, and he's got a big old foot, and he's wearing a similar outfit to the Beast. What's his? Not Mickaleth, but Malekith. When right before you fight Malekith, the Beast guy that you fight. I'm forgetting everybody's names because I didn't prepare for this. I just started talking. And what I see here is a, I think it's more of a beast Ash of War, or a beast power, or an incantation where he spits out a rock breath, because out of all of the beast claw incantations or beast incantations, there isn't a breath one, and so I think this is a breath version of the beast incantations. You can see the rocks there, and he's got fires, or he's got lightning, so that's holy, typically related to that, which is similar. And then we've got Mesmer, the snake charmer guy, super cool. What I noticed here that I didn't hear anybody mention too, let me go back here just a second, is he's obviously very reminiscent of Rykard. Like, he's either Rykard or something related to that, or the same thing, or Volcano Man, or something like that. But his weapon here, this spear or something like that, the tip of it, it looks exactly like Blasphemous Blade. It has the wavy red um, like tendrils coming off of it, and I thought that looked exactly like it. Even looks like Moog's spear a little bit, which is all kind of got some similarities to it. And he's obviously doing fire, which is similar to Rykard as well. So I think it's very reminiscent of that. He's got snakes and all that, so that seems pretty straightforward. He's also doing this. He does a spear move where he impales the character, which is exactly like Melania in the trailer for the main game. Melania does that stab up move, which is no fun. So then we get into some actual new weapons and the main character, and these are curved swords. So he's dual wielding curved swords, and does a Bloodhound step move, but with a cool finisher. So it's definitely a new move. The Bloodhound step doesn't, or maybe it's just a type of another Bloodhound step type move or another quick step move. But it has a bit of a different flair to it. So it looks new. Maybe it's specific to these dual blades that he's holding backwards, which is totally different. You don't hold any weapons backwards that I can remember in the main game. That's pretty cool. And then the guy throwing the spears, or the daggers, he's throwing daggers. What I noticed about that is that none of the throwing knives in the game do a really good, I mean, I guess you can stagger enemies, and they're not that fast. They don't have that, like, look to it. So I think this is an Ash of War related to these particular daggers, and maybe it's an Ash of War you can put on any non-specialty dagger. So that's really cool. This looks like an incantation where butterflies are involved, very similar to Melania's butterflies. It looks like she's putting sleep on everyone, so purple. And then we have, let's get back to this. It goes by so fast. So yeah, we have this purple sleep AoE, which I think is going to be really cool. Sleep, I think, is going to be a big part of the DLC. And then we have this cool, punching and kicking and stuff like that, which I think will just be another Ash of War. This guy's throwing a big pot or bomb. It's like a huge version of the bombs like in Dark Souls 3 or the pots in Elden Ring. Just a big version that you have to throw with two hands. And I think that that'll just be another added thing to the game. Then we have the crazy, annoying crossbow that shoots way too many bolts at a time and explodes and does a ton of damage, which is probably going to be something that kills me a bunch of times, but hopefully you can get it, and maybe it allows you to use crossbows in a new way, in a more viable way, because I never really got crossbows to work for me. It was always a bit too slow and a bit too like there was always something better. So we have the crossbow. The new beast roar with this, it looks like a bear, almost like a rune bear, with with some horns. We've got this looks like the same swords for the most part from the earlier scene. He's got a samurai type sword, and then she's got these dancer's swords. So this is obviously like a boss battle, or maybe a NPC invader. It kind of looks like it might be a open world NPC invader. Maybe that's how you get those blades, although she's holding them differently. This is a gravity, it's like the tip of a spear made into a sword with this crazy huge boar animal. Very similar to the Erdtree knights, but an earlier version, maybe, when they used boars instead. We got a lot of big animals here. This one does a cool spike move here that I guess you can probably do yourself. This is a skeleton rider which is similar to the ones in the main game, but like a boss version. And he has a boomerang that he throws, which is probably going to be really fucking annoying. This, I think, is essentially what happens when it's not like how you make those weapons that are made from someone's spine, like the Elden beast's main weapon is like that, and there's a dagger like that, and there's a few weapons that seem like they're made from the spines of gods, and this, I think, is what this is. It's essentially making a weapon, although it looks exactly like the Elden Ring symbol, and it looks like he's doing it to himself, but I can't imagine he wants to be doing it, and he's doesn't have any innards anymore, so I think this is a massive ritual that's related to the Elden Ring and gods and making those weapons to maybe kill gods as well. Pretty gross, actually. He doesn't look happy. And then we fight the Melania Rykard version here. Very similar kind of fight. It's probably going to be a huge pain in the ass, lots of fire. AoEs. I really like this weapon. It looks like it's almost like a fan shield with a blade on the end, and another, like, this blade sticks out here too. And I think that will be a totally new weapon, or maybe a new weapon class, where you can use it to block or use it to create wind, because it looks like a fan almost, and also use it as a weapon as well. This is where he's going to do the thrust, where he's, I guess is he stabbing him or just like holding him in the air? Yeah, he's holding him in the air with fire. Then he does like a whip. He's got like a flame whip. Very reminiscent of the Moog fight with all the fucking fire flinging. And this is obviously the Crucible Knight's winged Ash of War that we'll be able to use. I think that's just obvious. And we'll probably be able to use it with whatever weapon. It might just be an incantation, or it'll be connected to a weapon, Ash of War, so you can maybe it only works on one weapon, but I have a feeling it'll be more of an incantation like the other Crucible Knight incantations. Which makes sense. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Use that. They let you use the other ones. So I think that's everything that I noticed in the trailer. I hope it added a little bit to what people are talking about. I think it's just fun to chat about this stuff. I'm definitely going to pick it up and start playing it as soon as I can. I will take a day off from work, maybe more than one day. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.